This demonstration is a quick sketch on doing a sectional drawing, and in the process we are going to do a 1-point perspective. So the first point to remember is you need to sketch your background in 2 dimensions. That means the part that you are going to place in perspective is only going to be from 1 point. Let us add some scale to this drawing by adding a human being. I will draw a person in this small space, and immediately we can see that it is quite a small space. If we decide to use an eye level perspective, that being the level of a human's eye, then we can place our vanishing point on that point. We can, however, also place it anywhere on this background. Let me illustrate. I will place it there, just above the human viewpoint. Now, keep in mind that all your vanishing points will go to that point. You cannot now take a vanishing point anywhere else because it is not a 2-point perspective or a 3-point. I am making these lines to illustrate my point. You can arbitrarily decide where this will end. You can draw a line, for instance, there. Your horizontal lines will always remain horizontal, and it is perhaps a good idea to keep it that way. You can work with ruled construction lines. It makes it easier for you. Let us draw this in perspective. I'm using the squiggle line and I'm going to connect it there. If you wish, you can pick up that line and put it in here to illustrate your roof. However, it is not necessary to do that. You can just show a cut line over there, depending on how your construction would work. Let us complete this over here. Let us pick up that line and do that. This would typically be something that is in 1-point perspective, but it is a sectional perspective. We will complete the line there and there. As you see, I drew that line there on 2D, but it has fallen away. Let's connect the dots, and there we have a sectional 1-point perspective. Now, if that is 1.8 meters, that should be about 2.25 more or less, and we can get an approximate height for window openings. Let's put that line there and that line there. Let us say that there might be a window there. Remember, this line must now go through the vanishing point. We will put some thickness, a reveal to that window. See, that is wrong. I should pick up that line there. Just put some window frames, and I'm just going to sketch this in my usual style of sketching. Perhaps we want to show a small wall over here. Let us sketch that in. We will pick up that line and that line there, and that will be in perspective. Remember, we need to pick up that line as this will also be in perspective. But we need to make that shorter. Now you can place materials on the floor, but remember these lines must also be in perspective. That may be some very bad tile work. There is no need to show line weights in this kind of sketch, but we can show the construction. And one can now carry on and add in whatever detail it is that you wish to show on a sketch like this. Please note this is a rough sketch and I'm not paying too much attention to detail. It may be an opening in the background, or it may just be a window. Solid plane of glass. You can put in like that. Of course, on a one-point perspective, we can also put texture, such as a texture on the wall. This would be a very light tonal value, which I'm doing in a fairly blunt line, and I will add some shadow in that reveal. Please note, all shadow lines as illustrated to you in class will now also be subject to the one-point perspective. Shadows technically will only fall from one side, but for a sketch like this, it's perhaps not critical if you can convey your design idea and so forth.